close your eyes, not just to block out the light of your room, but to dissolve the walls of the world you think you know. Forget the ticking of the clock on your wall. Forget the weight of your phone in your pocket. Forget the labels the world has pinned to your chest. In this space, you have no name, no title, and no debt to the future. You are simply a breath, a pulse, a witness. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a great silver mist. This is the veil between the frantic world of doing and the eternal world of being. As you step forward, the floor beneath you changes. The hard, cold surfaces of modern life melt away. Your feet meet the earth not as a stranger, but as a long-lost relative. The soil is cool, damp with the memory of morning dew, and vibrating with a low, rhythmic hum that predates human speech. You are entering the ancestral dream. In the cultures that walked this earth long before the concrete was poured, the Maori of the great ocean, the First Nations of the vast plains, the nomads of the high deserts, there was a fundamental truth. You are not on the earth. You are of the earth. Look up. The sky is not a ceiling. It is the breath of the ancestors. In the American West, the Lakota spoke of Mitakui Oyasin, the idea that we are all related, not just humans, but the stone, the cedar, the hawk, and the river. They understood that the essential is found in the threads that connect us, not the objects we gather. In this dream, you are sitting by a fire that has been burning for 10,000 years. The smoke rises, carrying your worries into the stars, turning them into ash. Here, the small joys are the only currency that matters. Can you feel the sun on your skin? Not as a source of light, but as a blessing of warmth. In the ancestral way, the sun is the first teacher. It asks for nothing. It simply gives. When you wake up in this world, your first act isn't to check a screen. It is to offer a silent thank you to the light. This is the first joy, the recognition that you have been given another day to breathe. In our modern lives, silence is often feared. We fill it with noise, music, and voices. But here, in the heart of the ancestral forest, silence is a language. Listen to the trees. They do not hurry to grow. A grand sequoia or a silver-leafed eucalyptus understands that greatness takes seasons, not seconds. They teach us the joy of stillness. To be still is not to be empty. It is to be full of presence. The ancestors knew that if you sit long enough by a stream, the water will begin to speak to you. It tells the story of the mountain it left behind and the ocean it is destined to become. There is a profound happiness in realizing you are part of that flow. You don't have to push the river. You just have to stay in the boat. Think of the small joy of a shared meal. In the Marijuana, the meal is more than fuel. It is a sacred exchange of mana. When you eat a piece of fruit pulled from a branch or a root dug from the soil, you are consuming the energy of the stars and the rain. There is no fast food here. There is only sacred food. The joy is in the tasting, the chewing, the gratitude. We have been taught that to be happy, we must be more successful, more famous, more equipped. The The ancestral dream whispers a different path. To be happy, be less. Be less cluttered, be less distracted, be less heavy. The nomad's tent, or the navigator's canoe, was a masterpiece of the essential. Every tool had a purpose. Every object had a spirit. When your life is reduced to what you can carry, you realize that the heaviest things you own are the grudges you hold and the anxieties you nurse. In this dream, we are letting those go. We are stripping back the layers of the civilized self. We are finding the joy in the texture of life, the roughness of bark, the softness of moss, the sharpness of cold mountain air hitting your lungs. These are the small, ancestral happinesses that the modern world has buried under a mountain of plastic. The ancestors lived by the rhythm of the heart, not the rhythm of the machine. When the sun went down, the world slowed. The darkness was not a void to be illuminated by artificial glare. It was a sanctuary for storytelling and dreaming. In this part of our journey, I want you to find the joy in your own heartbeat. It is your oldest drum. It has been playing your song since before you were born. It is the same rhythm that moves the tides and the migration of the birds. When you align yourself with this natural pace, the small joys become magnified. A drop of rain on a leaf becomes a jewel. The sound of a bird calling to its mate becomes a symphony. You realize that you have been living in a palace your whole life, but you were too busy looking at your feet to notice the gold on the walls. As we sit here by this ancestral fire, let the warmth seep into your bones. Feel the connection to those who came before you, those who knew the names of the stars and the secrets of the seeds. They are not gone. They live in your DNA. They live in the way you breathe when you are finally at peace. They are cheering for you to remember. They are calling you back to the essential. Take one deep breath of this ancient air. The smoke of the ancestral fire settle. The great forest and the wide oceans are still there, but your eyes are turning inward. Imagine you are sitting in front of a mirror made of dark, still water. In this mirror, you do not see your face, your clothes, or the weary expression of a Monday morning. You see your mana. You see the light and the shadows of your true character. The ancestors knew that a person is not defined by their catch or their harvest, but by the strength of their roots. Today, we ask, How deep are yours? For too long, the modern world has fed you a lie. It told you that your value is a number, a bank balance, a follower count, a job title. These are the ghosts of success. They have no weight in the forest. They have no voice in the storm. Look into the water. Ask yourself, if everything I own was taken by the tide tonight, who would be left standing on the shore? This is the sacred strip down. It is not a punishment. It is a liberation. When you realize that you are more than your productivity, you finally begin to live. The Maori elders speak of Wakapapa, your lineage, your connection to everything that came before. You are a link in a chain of survivors, dreamers, and warriors. Do you think they fought for you to be busy? Or did they fight for you to be free? Let's take an inventory, not of your possessions, but of your virtues. In the silence of this dream, which of these values actually vibrates within you? Loyalty. Are you a rock for those you love, or a shifting sand? Wonder, can you still be moved to tears by a sunset? Or has your heart grown a shell of cynicism? Truth. Do you speak your words with the clarity of a mountain spring? Or are they mudded by the need to please others? The small joys we spoke of earlier, the warmth of the sun, the taste of water, they only reveal themselves to a soul that is aligned. If your values are crooked, your joy will be crooked. You cannot find peace in a life built on someone else's blueprint. Think of a value you have neglected. Perhaps it is silence. Perhaps it is creativity. Or perhaps it is simply kindness toward yourself. We often treat ourselves like beasts of burden, whipping our spirits to go faster, to do more. But an ancestral soul knows that even the earth needs to rest. Even the soil needs a season of winter to become fertile again. What is the root you have stopped watering? Why did you let it go dry? Was it because the world told you it wasn't useful? In the dream, everything is useful. The moss that grows slowly is just as sacred as the eagle that flies fast. The final test of the mirror is the voice. Not the voices of your parents, your boss, or the screen in your hand, but the voice that speaks in the gap between your thoughts. This is your inner navigator. The Polynesians found tiny islands in the vastness of the Pacific by reading the stars and the feel of the waves against the hull. They didn't have maps, they had knowing. You have that same knowing, but it is quiet. It doesn't shout like an advertisement. It whispers like the wind in the pines. To hear it, you must be brave enough to be bored. You must be brave enough to be alone with yourself. As you prepare to leave this mirror, don't try to fix everything at once. Just choose one value, one ancient truth that you will carry back with you. Maybe your value for this week is presence. To be fully there when you drink your coffee. To be fully there when someone speaks to you. When you align your life with your true values, the essential becomes effortless. You stop fighting the current. You become the current. Take a breath. Feel the weight of your truth. It is solid. It is real. It is yours. through the ancestral dream. You have looked into the mirror of your values. Now, it is time to open your eyes and step back into the world of people. But you are not returning as the person who left. You are carrying a secret. You have found your mana, and like a fire, it cannot be hidden under a cloak for long. The ancestors knew that a gift is only truly possessed once it has been given away. In the Maori tradition, there is the concept of manakatanga, the art of uplifting others, of showing hospitality not just with food, but with your very soul. Today, we learn how to turn your inner peace into a shield for those around you. The modern world is a masquerade. We wear masks of competence, masks of busyness, masks of I am fine. But these masks are heavy. They block the light. To be a better person, to be a true person, is to have the courage to be sincere. Sincerity is the shortest path between two hearts. Imagine walking into your workplace or your home, not with a shield, but with a clear, open gaze. When you are sincere, you give others permission to drop their heavy masks. You become a sanctuary. You don't need to fix their problems. You just need to be the person who truly sees them. In the old ways, to look someone in the eye was to acknowledge the divine spark within them. Do that today. Be the one who looks and truly sees. In our world, words are cheap. We throw them around like autumn leaves, noisy, dry, and hollow. But the elders taught that words have weight. They are seeds. If you speak with anger, you plant thorns. If you speak with calm, you plant shade for the weary. Share your vision of a calmer life, not by preaching, but by being. When the world around you is screaming, be the silence. When others are rushing, be the steady pace. People will ask you, how are you so calm? How are you so centered? That is your moment to share. Not a lecture, but a reflection. I found an island, you might say, and I realized that the waves don't have to sink the boat. We are social creatures. We were never meant to carry the weight of existence alone. To be a better person is to realize that you are a cell in a larger body. Look for the small joys in others. Celebrate a friend's tiny victory as if it were your own. In a world that thrives on competition, choose contribution. Ask yourself, how can I add to the mana of this room? Sometimes, being a better person is simply being the one who remembers to breathe when everyone else has forgotten. Your calm is contagious. Like a stone dropped into a still lake, your sincerity creates ripples. They touch people you will never meet. They reach shores you will never see. As this audiobook draws to a close, remember that the dream is always accessible. The forest is as close as your next deep breath. The mirror is as near as your next moment of silence. You are now an ambassador of the essential. You carry the wisdom of the Maori navigators and the Indian sages in your modern bones. Your mission is simple. Stay rooted in your values. Seek the small joys in every hour. Offer your peace to every soul you encounter. The world doesn't need more experts. It needs more presence. It needs more people who are home within themselves. VI, final blessing. Go now. Walk softly on the earth. Speak clearly from the heart. And remember, the island is always there, waiting for you to return whenever the world gets too loud. You are loved. You are connected. You are enough.